Hello and welcome, beautiful ones. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and it is a pleasure to be chatting with you as always. And I'm so excited for this topic. I would love some feedback, so please don't hesitate to comment. Um, this guy is going to be making a bit of an appearance today. Whether you're psychic or not, see if you can tune in to anything you're feeling or sensing right now. Um, and we're going to go ahead and go into the topic. So I'm going to set him aside for a moment. Just, see if anything comes up, and feel free to comment with the first thing that comes to your mind, whatever it may be. So, with that being said, being that I am in this profession, I am always I'm always learning and always trying to challenge myself in new directions. Lately, I've been being able to find lost things, and I'm so happy about that. I want to test it outside of myself. See how accurate I really am, things like that. But, there's always this learning and growing. And having connected with pagans and witches and things like that, and psychics and people like me, basically, having connected with people like myself, I was able to learn so much. And, things that I, had experienced from years ago, had names, and just kind of learning that. It gave me peace of mind, like, okay, so it's not just me. So there was something going on, but I didn't know at the time because I didn't think to look it up or anything like that. I wanted that kind of yes or no answer. And, didn't even think about researching it. But as a kid, I can't really say that I knew I was psychic. I saw stuff. The stuff out of the corner of my eye that would come and go, the creaking in the house, and it was at the most perfect time. It was like you knew something was going on. Seeing ghosts or, things like that. But I didn't think that that was psychic. I just thought I was lucky enough to experience that. There's a major supernatural history on one side of my family, and, some, we'll say, extended family as well. So, there's all this going on. But I never thought as a kid, or even now, I never say, oh, I knew when I was a child. And this led me to comparing myself to other psychics. Well, they knew. Why didn't I? Was I not psychic as a child? Was this something that I had to learn or hone or, whatever the case may be? And, there comes a certain point where I guess you kind of learn to do things your way, your unique way. And connecting with, people that were like me, it was like we would go into these conversations and I'd learn so much. But, I didn't have the imaginary friends that later turned out to be my guides, or, I didn't have the imaginary friends that turned out to be spirits that I could pinpoint and say, oh, they came from here or whatever, And so I would, struggle with imposter syndrome. But then the other day I was thinking, but I have had a lot of experiences with things. And this guy comes into the picture when I think about it. So he was inseparable with me until my uncle died, 2 years ago, I think. If I'm doing my math right. Not even 2. Wait. Yeah, not even 2. And it's been hard. The night that he passed, I had him by my pillow like I always do, up on my pillow actually. And, he was always in my bed somewhere. But that night he was actually on my pillow, and I moved him aside because I could not be around him. I was just so sad, but I couldn't be away from him either, so I set him kind of close enough to where I wasn't touching him. This is progress right here. So anyway, when I thought about the bond that I had with this bear for so long, and, suddenly feeling as if things had changed and not having him in the capacity that I had before. I started thinking, okay, so I didn't have spirit guides or imaginary friends or any of that. I had him. And so when I was going through something tough, it was like, okay, so I'd reach for him, and I would hear this, you're going to be okay. So many nights that I struggled with so many things, and he would say, you're going to be okay. The other one is, what was it? It's okay, I'll protect you. Whenever I thought there was something in my room at night, I'm a magnet for that stuff. So, the more I think about it, the more I think, yeah, I may not have been psychic as a child, but definitely sensitive in so many senses of the word. The psychic thing, maybe I had a touch of it at that time, just enough to where I could open it up. Just enough to where when I was, a teenager, it kind of came to me when I started tuning in with my own spirituality. But then, when we become self-absorbed again, kind of lose it. And I think that, as when I reached my 20s, it was like I wasn't even trying to become psychic. I was searching for happiness. So searching for something and searching for happiness, it's like it led to the psychic experience for me to become so intuitive that I could predict things. And I could as a kid, here and there. I just didn't really try because I, didn't come to me straight in that way. As a teenager, when I got into the spirituality, it did come strong. But I'm thinking that instead of an imaginary friend, I had this guy because, I related to stuffed animals. I related to teddy bears. I still have a whole bunch of teddy bears everywhere. I had to put some in a box because on my desk I had so many little bitty ones. And so I would like to know if perhaps that was the way that I received my messages from him. I believe it was. I believe that that was my way. And it could still possibly be that way. But whenever I needed a message and I would reach for him, that's where it came from. And, also considering that, that may not have been the psychic aspect, but I do think that that was the mediumship aspect. And I'm still working to become a stronger medium and to be able to see things a lot clearer. I can sometimes, but it's a lot of pressure. The mediumship often comes in terms of angels and guides, and I'm just now learning the difference between angels and guides, or at least mine. My angels are like, it's okay, you're going to be fine. They, guide me along. And my spirit guides are like very blunt and very to the point. You need to stop that right now. And that's the way they come in. And I'm like, I know, but I don't want to. I'd rather, laze about in, my own self-pity sometimes, and they come in and say, you can't be doing this. You need to get to work. You've got to do some things here, and this is not serving you. And so, it pushes me. Whereas, before in my past, the angels were like, it's okay. You're going to be okay. And they would coddle me. And I think that I'm ready for, the more abrasive, well, not abrasive, but the more blunt messages these days. So, but there is, to me, a very big difference. I think that he may have been the guides that I had at that time, or my angels, but either way, there's something going on there. I think so. And so, like I said, for those of us who don't have imaginary friends, maybe they come through in other ways. Something that's going to, give us that moment of wisdom or that comfort and peace and things like that. So just a thought. Just because we don't have the same experience as someone else doesn't mean that ours isn't the same but different. You know, and I think that that's something to look at, because the imposter syndrome was real when I started thinking, well, I didn't have those experiences as a kid. But what do you guys think? Do y'all think that I'm imagining things with him? And it's been so long since I actually, you know, took a minute to cuddle him, and I missed him so much, but it's been hard, because that memory is attached. And I actually remember getting him when I was maybe 2 or 3, I'm not sure, and reaching my arms up to take him. And I remember that, you know, so I must have been tiny. Uh, and since then, we were inseparable, till recent times. And so I'm hoping to find that healing, because I knew that at some point I was going to be able to get close to him again, and not have the pain come through. Also, he does have like stitches, you know, all over and somewhere in his ear. I used blue thread. I think I was like 10 when I sewed him up at that time, but pretty sure he did. I'm not seeing any. Maybe he healed. Or maybe, I'm thinking maybe it was a different animal. I don't know. We'll have to look for that later. But anyway, I'm not going to keep y'all any longer. And I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. And again, I'm so sincere when I say I would love to have some feedback and to know what your experiences are or what you think about this. And I will talk to y'all later. Have a great day.